Your values are useless. Let me show you why standards work when values don't and how this one simple shift changes everything. So everyone talks about values. Family is important to me. I value work-life balance. What is your business values? Health is a priority. Great. So is that why you worked through dinner last night? Values don't work. Not because they're bad, but because they're abstract. Standards, those work because they're behavioral. Today, I'm teaching you the standards framework, the thing that actually changed my business and my life. And this is how I close my laptop at 4 p.m. every single day, sometimes even 2:30. Not when I can, every day. This is how I never miss Fridays with my teens, not if nothing comes up, never miss. Standards, not values. I'm Lauren Apple, and I help CEO parents scale their profit and their presence. So let me show you why values don't work. Example number 1, the family value. You say, family is important to me. Okay, so what does that mean behaviorally? Does it mean you leave work at 5 p.m.? You don't check email on the weekends? You attend every single school performance? You have dinner together every night? You take actual vacations? All of the above? Some? None? Here's the problem. The value is too vague to guide behavior. So what happens? You work late just this once because this client really needs you. You check email on Saturday just really quickly because something might be urgent. You miss the school performance because you have a deadline. And you tell yourself, but family is still important to me. Technically, that's true, but behaviorally, it's false. Another example, the health value. You say health is a priority. Great. So what does that mean? Does it mean you exercise 30 minutes every day? That you sleep 8 hours? That you eat 3 meals without working? That you eat only clean food? That you take sick days when you're sick? Again, it's too vague. So you skip the gym just today because you're behind. You work through lunch just this once to finish a proposal. You stay up until midnight just tonight to meet a deadline. You work when you're sick because it's not that bad. And you tell yourself, but health is important to me. Again, technically true, behaviorally false. You guys see where I'm going here? This is the core problem with values. Values are simply beliefs about what's important. But beliefs don't drive behavior consistently. We make exceptions, we get behind, we get into a habit of going past what we actually value and not acting it out. But what does drive behavior? Identity. And that's where standards come in. Standards are identity statements, not belief statements, identity statements. The format is, I am someone who. Let me show you the difference. Here's value to standard for family. Your value, family is important to me. Your standard, I am someone who closes my laptop at 4 p.m. every day so I can be with my family. See the difference? The value is a belief. The standard is an identity statement. The value is abstract. The standard is specific and observable. The value allows exceptions. This is where we get in traps. The standard is a non-negotiable. Here's another one, value to standard, health, okay? Your value is health is a priority. Your standard is I am someone who sleeps 7 hours per night. Again, the standard is observable. Everybody can see if it happens or not. It's measurable. You slept 7 to 8 hours or you didn't. It's non-negotiable, part of who you are, not what you're trying to do. So here's the 3 characteristics of standards. Every standard must have 3 things. Number 1, observable. Anyone can see whether you're following your standard or not. I'm a person who does not drink alcohol. That's observable. You can tell if someone drinks alcohol or not. Family is important. It's not observable. Number 2, measurable. You can track compliance. Are you actually living up to that standard? Friday afternoons are for my teens. You either did it or you didn't this week. Work-life balance, you can't measure that. And number 3, it is non-negotiable. Standards don't have exceptions. It's not just sometimes that I do this. It's not I close my computer at 4 p.m. when I can, because how often will that happen? It's I close my laptop at 4 p.m., period. It has no exceptions. If it has exceptions, it's a guideline, not a standard, right? And we don't make decisions off of guidelines. Sometimes we follow them, sometimes we don't. And this is why when you switch things from values to standards, why it works, because it's identity-based behavior change. You're looking to change a habit, make a standard. The most effective way to change behavior is to focus on who you wish to become, not what you want to achieve. It's not goals, it's standards. It goes from I want to protect family time, that's a goal, to I'm someone who closes my laptop at 4 p.m. every single day. That's identity. When your standard is part of your identity, you don't negotiate with yourself. You just do it because it's who you are. So let me show you some of my actual standards. These aren't aspirations. These are who I am. Standard 1, I am someone who closes my laptop at 4 p.m. every day. Not when I finish, not if I can, at 4 p.m. every day. When my kids walk through that door, my laptop is closed. Clients want to meet at 4:30? Sorry, no. Project isn't done at 4 p.m.? It waits until tomorrow morning. Emergency at 4:15? My VA handles it or it waits. This is non-negotiable. It's who I am. Standard number 2, I'm someone who protects my Friday afternoons with my teens. Every Friday for the past year, they have been off of school on Fridays. And I have missed exactly twice. Once when we were on vacation, but we were still together, and once when they were sick. We still were together, but we didn't go in and spend our time out on the pickleball court or doing the things we normally do. Otherwise, it's every single Friday. Client emergency, they contact my VA. Launch happening, it doesn't matter. This is who I am, so I plan for it. I work around it. Standard number 3, I am someone who never misses morning hugs with my kids. Before they leave for school, every morning, I give them a hug and I say goodbye. Even when I have an early call, I schedule it after they leave. Even when I'm traveling, I FaceTime for air hugs, as my 6-year-old calls it. It's non-negotiable. I want to say I love you to my kids every morning before they head off to school. That's non-negotiable. Standard number 4, I am someone who doesn't work when I'm sick. Not just for a few hours, not just to finish this one thing. If I am sick enough to know that I need rest, I don't work, period. I've gotten myself in way too many messes where I have burnt myself out because I didn't take care of myself. Standard number 5, I am someone who never misses a birthday. If an invite comes up to speak, it's an easy no. I'm present. There's no exceptions. These aren't things I'm trying to do. These are things that I am. It's who I am. And that makes all the difference. Here's how you can create your own standards. Step 1, start with what you say you value. It's easy. It's easy to name your top 3 values, but I want you to do this in all different areas of your life. 1, in your life, okay? What are your values in your life? 2, in your business. What are your values in your business? And 3, what are your legacy impact values? Okay, what does it look like to impact the world or to be generous? Like that could be a value. I am generous with my finances. I give first, right? Those kind of things. Family, health, whatever matters to you. Name some values in each of those buckets. Step 2, ask, what would be true if this was actually a priority? If family was really a priority, what would you be doing? Be specific and be honest. Not what you wish you were doing, what would actually be different? Step 3, convert to specific, observable behaviors. This is where most people get hung up and they fail. They stay too vague. They say things like spend more time with family. That's wrong. Or leave work at a reasonable time. That's still too vague. Or take better care of myself. These are all still too abstract. Make them specific. I close my laptop at 4 p.m. I attend every single soccer game. I sleep 7 to 8 hours per night. See the difference? These are observable and measurable. And then step 4, test for the 3 characteristics. For each standard you write, ask, is it observable? Can anyone see if I'm following this? Is it measurable? Can I track compliance? Did I hit it or not? Is it non-negotiable? Does it have exceptions? If yes to all 3, then it's a standard. If no to any of them, keep refining and digging. Step 5, start with 3 to 5 standards in each bucket maximum. Don't create 20 at once. It's really easy to get ahead of ourselves, but pick the 3 to 5 that matter the most right now. You can always add more later. And what I have found is a lot of times is our standards build off of each other. So there's probably a foundational one in there that would make the biggest difference for you. Standards like I am someone who closes my laptop at 4 p.m. every day. I am someone who doesn't work weekends. I am someone who takes 4 weeks of vacation annually. I'm someone who exercises 4 days per week. I'm someone who eats lunch away from my desk. I am someone who doesn't check email after 6 p.m. I'm someone who attends every school performance. Notice, they're all observable, they're all measurable, and they're all non-negotiable. Here's some of the common mistakes that I see when I set standards with my clients. Number one is they're too vague. We've talked about this. I prioritize family. It's not a measurable standard, right? Step 2 is they make exceptions. I close my laptop at 4 p.m. when I can. That's an exception. It's not a standard. Mistake 3 is creating too many standards. When we try to do all the things at once, we become the master of none, right? So focus on 3 to 5 and become the master of them. And then they already are your identity, right? And you can build on top of them. And here's the critical part about standards that nobody talks about. Standards aren't just personal commitments. They're business design requirements. Let me explain. My standard laptop closes at 4 p.m. That's not just a personal boundary for me. That required me to make operational changes in my business. Change number 1 was my client call hours. I changed my scheduler link. I no longer take calls after 4 p.m. All client calls are scheduled 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. No exceptions, ever. Change number 2, support for after-hour questions. I hired a VA who's on a different time zone who can monitor email after 4 p.m. for me. Genuine emergencies, she handles them, or she escalates them to the team or someone else. Non-emergencies, they wait until tomorrow. Change number 3, client exceptions set up front in my onboarding. My business hours are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I don't respond outside those hours. Here's how to reach my VA for urgent matters. You'll probably, if you message me on a Friday, get an out of office reply saying that we don't work Fridays, because I do work in the morning, but I don't respond to emails, and I spend my afternoons with my teens and then my kids when they get home from school, my littles. Set the expectation before they become a client. Change number 4, projects that don't require evening availability. I say no to projects that require constant availability. I say no to potential clients that need somebody who's responsive at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm not the right fit. Change number 5, systems that don't need constant monitoring. Recurring payments process automatically. Scheduling happens through a scheduler link. Workflows are documented so my VA can execute on them. Nothing requires my constant attention. See what happened? My standard, I closed my laptop at 4 p.m., required me to redesign my entire operational model. I couldn't just decide to close my laptop at 4 p.m. I had to build a business that allows me to close my laptop at 4 p.m. And this is also why you have to design around your life. There were choices I had to make in my life in order to be available at other non-normal times, like super early in the morning to work on business, so I could close my laptop at 4 p.m. every night. And this is why most standards fail. People create standards without changing their systems. They say, I'm not going to work weekends anymore. Then Saturday comes, a client emergency pops up, no systems are in place to handle it, so they work because the business requires it. The standard fails, not because of discipline, not because of heart, not because of desire, but because of design. Standards without systems equal frustration and failure. Standards with systems equal transformation and fulfillment. You can't willpower your way to standards. You have to design for them. So what does this mean for you when you create your standards? Ask, what needs to change in my business for this standard to be possible? Maybe you need to limit client call hours, to hire support, to set different expectations with clients, to say no to certain types of projects, to build systems that don't require your constant attention. That's your operational redesign roadmap. Not how do I have better discipline, but how do I redesign my business to honor my standards? That's the work. And here's what makes this powerful. This is the quickest way that I identify the biggest misalignments for my clients. Not through generic business advice of what is the best things to do right now to scale, not through some cookie cutter framework that works for everyone, through standards. When I work with a new client, I ask them, what are your standards? And most of them can't answer because they've been thinking in values, not standards. So I help them convert their values into actual standards. And then I ask, which of these standards are you not living by right now? And that's where the misalignment shows up. It's really easy to recognize. For example, a client says their standard is, I'm someone who closes my laptop at 5 p.m. I ask, how many days this week did you close it at 5 p.m.? And they say 1, maybe 2. That's the misalignment, right? It's really easy to see that. Now we have real clarity. Not, I need to work on work-life balance. That's vague with no action steps. But my business currently requires me to work past 5 p.m. most days, and I need to redesign so I can close my computer at 5 p.m. It's specific and it's actionable. And this is how you make quick decisions. Once you know your standards, decisions become easy. You want to meet those standards. So a decision that brings you closer to that standard becomes easy for you. You want to be done with work at 4 p.m., you close your laptop at 4 p.m. The decision? No, I can't meet with a client at 4:30. You offer them 9 to 3 p.m. instead. It's fast, it's clear, and you have no guilt around it. Potential client needs someone available evenings and weekends. Your standard? I don't work weekends. Decision? I'm not the right fit for you. Here's someone else who might work better. Fast, clear, no second guessing, no regret. Without standards, every decision requires deliberation. Should I take this meeting? Should I work this weekend? Should I take on this client? You agonize, you rationalize, you make exceptions. With standards, decisions are instant. Does this align with my standards? Yes or no? It's that simple. This is what I mean by real clarity. Generic business advice says set better boundaries. Okay, which boundaries? How? When? Standard-based approach says your standard is closing your laptop at 4 p.m. You're currently closing it at 6 to 7. Here are the specific operational changes that are needed. Limit client call hours. Hire support for after-hour questions. Set expectations up front. And redesign your service delivery to not require constant availability. See the difference? One is vague advice that goes nowhere. The other is a specific roadmap based on your standards, not mine, yours. And this is how you get real clarity on what steps you need to take right now. Not what worked for someone else, what you need to do to live by your standards. Let me show you a real example. My client, Katie. Katie's situation is she currently had $320K in revenue that she was making every year, but she was working 70 hours per week. And her problem was she was missing her daughter's soccer games every Saturday. And she said, I value family. It's important to me. But I still didn't show up for my Saturday games. And so she set a standard that I am going to be at every soccer game. She set another standard that I am someone who doesn't work past 6 p.m. And the third standard was I am someone who doesn't work weekends. So then when I asked what needs to change in the business for these standards to be possible, we used the road method. And you might have heard me talk about it before. We removed stuff, okay? We cut 2 low revenue service tiers that took 15 hours weekly. We optimized, we streamlined onboarding from 8 hours per client to 4 hours. We automated, we set up payment reminders, scheduling links, email sequences, and then we delegated. We hired a VA for email management, calendar management, and client communication. And 4 months later, Katie's revenue was up to $448,000. That was at 40%. And she was only working 40 hours per week. She was down 30 hours. She attended every single soccer game. She closed her laptop at 6 p.m. sharp with no exceptions. And she didn't work weekends any longer. It wasn't about better balance. It was better standards. Standards that she designed her business to honor. So here's your assignment. If you're listening in, you've never thought about standards before, I want you to pick one value that matters to you. Convert it to a specific, observable, measurable standard. The format, I am someone who, okay? Then ask yourself, honestly, am I living this standard right now? If no, that's your misalignment. That's where the work is. If yes, then go on to the next standard. Take my scale and margin assessment. There's a link in the description of this video. And here's what makes this different. It doesn't just give you generic business advice. It shows you your specific misalignments, what zone you are in 4 scaling zones, and what operational changes you need, what standards you're not living by and why. You get real clarity on what steps you need to take, not what worked for someone else. Because standards without systems fail. But standards with the right operational changes, that's how you build profit and presence. 5 minutes, the assessment's completely free. Click the link in the description below, get a personalized roadmap based on your situation. And if you want more frameworks like this, make sure that you subscribe and follow to our channel or subscribe to our newsletter that we send out every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. We are super honored to help you rewrite your business so that you have more profit and more presence. Thank you for watching.